got disconnected. But this has happened before, and usually unplugging it and plugging it back in works. Yep. All right. God damn it, Illustrator. I told you to turn off like 10 minutes ago. I'm sure somewhere in this pile of things is Illustrator being like, can I delete this one thing you don't need? Dr. Drokel. Hello. Illustrator, really? Yeah, clear clipboard. Clear clipboard. Why would it matter? I need to learn.
It only matters when it matters.
I need to learn Illustrator more. I can do like the very, very basics, but there's some really frustrating stuff. Like, how come mirrored operations between Photoshop and Illustrator aren't the same? Like transformation tools.
Yeah, none of them.
Why aren't they in the same exact spot?
Yeah, because they're different programs, even though they're
not
the same thing. They do.
This...
I know, but they just don't care.
Yeah.
They're all different. Because even like the Premiere, all of the Premiere tools are different than the Photoshop tools, even though they're the same tools.
Yeah.
They do the same function. Like, they're all different.
Mm-hmm.
But you can change everything if you want to.
That is true.
To make them in the places that you want them to be. What I really don't like is how every program has a different zoom key.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's scrolly, sometimes it's command scrolly, sometimes it's control scrolly, sometimes it's alt scrolly.
Well, you
it's
can
crazy.
go in and change it all.
Exactly. Well, not on most programs.
That's true.
Like, you can't change it on VDubs. You can't change it on Premiere.
I wonder, is there worry that people are so used to these programs that if they tried to make things simpler across platforms, that it would actually screw everything up?
Nah, they're just different companies. They don't care.
But it's
in the 90s when they were making Blender, they were just like, "Yep, we're gonna do this. This is how all the keys are." And then now it doesn't make any sense. I don't know. It all depends.
Oops. I don't need that image. I need this image.
JPC.
Nope.
Oh, is Tuesday stream normal? We stream Monday through Saturday. And then our Saturday streams are extra long. And we have an extra stream on Friday for our Patreon supporters after our normal Friday stream.
Mm-hmm. Alright, I can't edit Nick's face. Right this second. This is probably the update.
Ah.
It won't let me click on anything because it'll just default to clicking on my Logitech camera because it's technically covering the screen. So anytime I try to click and edit anything, it's going to click on that. So Nick's going to be big for today. Unless maybe I can turn off Logitech and lock it. And then can I edit this?
Ooh. We're going to try a lot of stuff.
Still I can't.
Yep, there you go.
Wait, no way. No. Okay, for a second I thought Logitech edited while being a locked frame. It didn't. Okay, can't edit Nick, but that's fine.
Nick was big last stream too. That's true.
Yep.
Big Nick. And you know what rhymes with that?
Mm-hmm. So I was contemplating, because this guy, he's kind of looking good now because, his fluffy coat has to be white and his beard has to be white. But that's a problem. His coat has to be white and his beard has to be white. How am I going to make him different? So I'm going to make his coat have a base color of khaki. And his beard is going to have a base color of gray. So that's how I'm going to make him look different. Came for the mini painting, stay for the Nick.
I stay for the Nick pick.
Mm-hmm. Nicholas Pickles.
Mm-hmm. Nicholas Dickolas.
looking for? White paint. What white paint do I actually own? Ooh, Zerg619 is still progressing on the Assault Astartes. Why is there a hole in my butt? Late to the party. Is there a character limit on making a Google account?
Oh, that's a good question.
Like, could you just make it like the first chapter of a book?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure you can't.
Probably exactly as many characters as "Why is there a hole in my butt?"
Yep, probably.
All right, we're gonna continue to paint Bad Santa.
Bad Santa, you're breaking my Santa.
But the very next Santa?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not the wordsmith. You are.
Mmm.
Always have to be in live chat so I can see people's naughty things that they say.
Mm-hmm. I finished my my audiobook, Brutal Cunnin', and it was really, really good. It had a really, really good ending. It's the story of an orc who becomes a knob and then a war boss, and a what are they called? An Adeptus Mechanicus Forge planet being overrun, and so it's kind of fun. You see it from the pure logic perspective of the Cult Mechanicus, and then the no logic whatsoever perspective of the orcs.
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked it. It also has Captain Badrock in it. And it's great because all the orcs hate him.
Joey Flores, was it a brutal twist with a cunning ending?
I'd say so. There is a couple of twisties and a couple of turnies.
Everyone becomes best friends.
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. And so I started a new 40k audiobook about the Chaos... what are they called? Chaos Night Lords. And this story is looking like it's going to be pretty good, too. So far, it's just about Night Lords, who are like, bad news bears, Chaos Space Marines. Like, they're one of the worst things you can meet in 40k. And an Astropath Navigator.
Mm-hmm.
Has there always been vague static in the streams?
Probably.
Yeah.
It's probably the fan on your computer.
Could be. It definitely could be that. Kilgore Boy, it sounds like the plot for Space Marine, kinda. A little bit. I've heard good things, SEM, I've heard good things about The Infinite and the Divine by Robert Rath, with 2 Necrons as protagonists. Yeah, I think I have that book. It's about Trazing the Infinite and someone else. Another Necron, though.
Mm-hmm. Books do you have? Did you just get a bunch of them?
I got a lot of them.
All at once?
I probably got 10. Because in Audible, you get credits every month, and I hadn't spent a bunch in a while, and I wanted to cancel my subscription, and they make you spend them before you cancel. Otherwise, they don't stick around. So I bought a bunch of 40k books. I bought the first book of the Horus Heresy, also known as the Horsey.
The horsey.
Magnus did nothing wrong. Dr. Trokel, the twist is the friends we made along the way.
Exactly.
Kilgore Void, I imagine being an astropath is one of the worst things to be in 40k. Actually, being an astropath, it seems like it's not that bad, because you actually are important. Your third eye and the ability to navigate the warp makes you a very, very valuable resource. And so the character in this story, which I'll look up the name of the book in a second, they're actually kind of like, they came from a little bit of a poor family, but because they're a navigator family, they still have some clout. And so it seems like, and most of the time, navigators don't, accidentally let demons onto the ship. But yeah, definitely astropaths have the possibility for one of the worst deaths, which is becoming a warp gate to allow demons into the Materium world. But yeah, like, worst thing you could probably be is like a chaos cultist or something. Soul Hunter by Aaron Dembski Bowden. 11 hours and 58 minutes remaining, and I think I've listened to 25 minutes. Oh boy. La Fabrique du Lancier? Hi!
Let's go with that. Hello.
Kilgore Void. Me reading the Horus Heresy. Boy, these guys seem nice. Me later. Oh, no! SEM, I'm waiting for Descent of Angels to arrive. I liked the writer after reading 15 hours. It'd be great if you read 15 hours and you're like, this sucks. There's almost no movies I've given up on because they're just like, 2 hours or so. There's a bunch of books I've given up on.
War and Peace.
War and Peace. I remember I gave up on The Hunger Games. That book 3 sucked. Why would Katniss be important after book 1? See, at least with Harry Potter, like, there's a prophecy. So Harry's has to be important. Why would Katniss ever be important?
I only watched the first movie. And that's when it came out. So I have no idea. And I don't even remember it.
Kilgore Void. I know being a navigator in Dune is kind of awful. You do get to load up on space cocaine constantly, though.
That might be worth it.
Hunger Games sucks. That's an unsub now. I like the first book. The first book is great. That's why I read the next 2. And the next 2 were not as good. I think it's because it's a little bit exactly like The Matrix. The Matrix 1 is a perfect self-contained story, and then 2 or 3 are both the sequel to 1. Like, where they do all of the world building and introduce all of the other characters and do all of the stuff that has to happen. Like, I don't think you even get a look at any of the other districts in the first book. Yeah, Kilgore. Hunger Games Book 3 was trash. You know what's funny? I got all the way up until the last chapter, and then I needed to return the book to the library. I just returned it.
Wow.
I didn't need to know how it ended. Why would Katniss be important? I don't care about Prim. I don't care about Gale. I don't care about PETA. I don't care about Katniss's mom. SEM, guys, recommend me a nice introduction novel to Space Marines. I've been reading only Imperial Guard so far. Ooh, I don't know. The only thing I've read on the Space Marines is Indomitus, which is pretty good. But I don't know, like that's not going to get you into Space Marines. You kind of have to be into Space Marines already, and have a copy of Indomitus. Killer Void, Hell's Reach. Yeah, Hell's Reach is amazing. I've only experienced Hell's Reach through the YouTube video. But I have the book, so I can't wait. I feel like I've already read it because I literally have heard the audiobook. Oh my goodness, David Dog. I think Katniss slept with Harvey Weinstein so she could get a second book movie tie-in deal. I think all the books were written before the movies, weren't they?
Yeah, I thought so.
I have not seen the other. I've seen the first movie. I did not feel the need to watch the sequels. Are there 4? Did they split the last book into 2 movies?
A classic.
Yeah. Pull a Twilight.
Mm-hmm. The first one came out in 2012.
Yep. The Hell's Reach book is great. Trooper Andre is a treasure. He has a great scene where he spends 15 minutes digging a booger out of his nose and informs his sergeant that he has achieved victory. It's pretty good. In the book I am reading now, Night Haunts, there's a great moment where a mining drone has fired upon the Chaos Space Marines who are surveying the planet, and so one Chaos Space Marine says, "I got this," and then shoots it with one bolter round. And then the sergeant says, "Another glorious victory." Making fun of him.
There are 4 Hunger Game books.
No
There's
way.
3, and then they came out with one this year, which is a prequel.
Yep.
So, I love it. A prequel 10 years after the last book.
The story wasn't done yet. Is it
Yeah.
at
Well,
least like?
you had to go fast.
Yeah, is it at least set far in the past, like before, like the fall of America into the districts? Because that could be kind of
I
cool.
let's see. I believe it said it's set 64 years before Hunger Games events.
Okay, that sounds like it could be pretty cool, actually. They should have done that instead of book 2 and 3.
Yeah. I watched the first movie. I remember that.
Hmm.
I hadn't read the books because I don't know how to read.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all that problem.
Joy Flores. I recall that Harry Potter was still ongoing and felt that the movie started to really rub into the books in a bad way. Maybe.
Mm.
Although I've read the Harry Potter like a million times, and I've watched all the movies a million times.
Hmm.
Harry Potter 7 the movie is better than Harry Potter book the movie. Or no, Harry Potter 7 the book. Like Harry Potter 7 the book is kind of a hot mess. It's still good, but like it's just we got these weird tone shifts where it's like it's kind of the coming of age book for a lot of characters, but then you have these long ass chapters about going hanging out with Dumbledore and looking at Tom Riddle's past. And so the book kind of is a slog. The movie does a really good job of keeping everything moving and interesting and funny. Cooker Void. I called it when Harry Potter split the last book into 2 movies. Didn't Twilight do it first? Or was it really Harry Potter first? I swear it's Twilight that did it first.
I assumed to call it as in like I stopped watching them.
Oh.
That's what I assumed. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyone else curious for the Wheel of Time series? I don't know what that is. JPC? Sam, honestly, I have prejudice against young adult novels. Sorry, not sorry. Well, of course, because they're mostly bad and they're meant for young adults. So that's very healthy to have some skepticism about that. Like, I'm not gonna like a new young adult novel. I like Harry Potter
Hmm.
because that's what I read when I was a young adult.
Although there's a lot of people out there that still read young adult books.
Yeah, well, maybe they're still young adults.
You said it, not me. SEM, yeah, but a lot of people never grow out of them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll probably never grow out of Harry Potter, but I don't want to pick up anything new. Joey Flores, I'm so sick of endless movie franchises. That is true, but the only problem is they're the only thing that works. No one shows up for new stuff. Every movie that's not based on a pre-existing property flops hard, no matter if it's good or not.
I think the future of that kind of movie is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you really want something like that to happen, make a Netflix thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Or that seems like that's where that works out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just let Disney have all of movies, And the good stuff will go to streaming services. Harry Potter did the last book in 2011, and then Twilight did it the year after. Ooh, I wonder though, did they do it the year after with the release of the movie? Because that sounds like they both did it at the same time, and one just released later than the other one.
I wonder if it's the same studio.
Is it Warner Brothers? Is Twilight Warner Brothers? I should know this.
Obviously.
I love me some Twilight.
Let's see. Mm-hmm. The Twilight Saga film series.
The Maze Runner, R.I.P., and that other dystopian young adult movie that died. Yeah, I read the first bit of Maze Runner, and I didn't get what was going on. And then I saw the movie, and there's like zombies. I was completely lost. Like, why were they putting young kids into a maze to try to cure the zombie apocalypse? It don't make no sense. Why is there a hole in my butt? Remember when people went to the movies to see the actors instead of saying, oh, let's see the new superhero movie? You know what? The problem is most of those superhero movies are pretty darn good. It's not like they became popular by being crap. But I do agree there's 2.9 trillion of them.
But they work.
Mm-hmm.
You can bring your kids to them.
Yeah, but then you don't want to blow your brains out because they're halfway decent.
Yep.
Or in the case of Iron Man 1, it's just a masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
Twilight was Summit via Lionsgate. So two different studios decided to pull the old double dip.
the old 1-2.
Yeah. Kilgore Void. I don't know why. Why do young adult novels / movies do anything? Kids are stupid. And some of them are fine. Some of them take, obviously Harry Potter, pretty decent. Every single Twilight movie, amazing. Hunger Games, decent. Joy Flores, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and 2 are my favorite of the Marvel series. They're technically superhero movies, but more science fiction. Oh my goodness, I love Guardians 1 and 2. They're unbelievably good. Kilgore Void. Franchise fatigue, I think it's called. It's the same reason I don't keep up with comics anymore. Everything is sterilized and incomprehensible unless you buy every scrap of it. Kinda. I mostly stopped seeing Marvel movies a lot. I saw all the Wave 1 stuff. I saw some of the Wave 2 stuff. I watched Iron Man 3 and Avengers whatever. The Avengers 2? Electric Boo, and then I finally got around to seeing Infinity Age of Extinction Ultra Part 2. And there, it's all good. It's all good. If you're in the mood for it, you're in the mood for it. You just gotta wait until you are, though.
And sometimes you never are.
And sometimes you never are. You know what, though? Enough movies have been made that you'll never be bored.
That's true. I mean, and all the stuff on Netflix and all the stuff on YouTube.
Oh my God, isn't it something like over 1,000 hours of content is uploaded to YouTube every minute?
Mm-hmm.
Which you gotta wonder, what's the upper limit on this? At some point, aren't they gonna have to be like, all right, we gotta do a little purging?
I think they just keep adding the old hard drives.
I think it'd be really interesting if they just turned it off and on again. And just said, all right, it's 2005 again.
Mm-hmm.
We're starting fresh.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's what happens with like the new social media platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Like when people thought TikTok was going away, so everyone was on Byte for a second,
Mm-hmm.
and then that was garbage, and so no one's on it anymore. That's kind of what that's like, I feel like. SEM, no, I wouldn't want to lose your base tutorials. We'll just re-upload them.
Yeah, we got them. That's no problem. We'll get those puppies back up day one.
Is there anyone that you wouldn't put back up?
Oh, if we could do a little purging. I mean, we
Root
got
base? Graveyard base?
Graveyard base. No, we need Graveyard base to see just how good the new Graveyard base is.
The Graveyard bases. Okay.
If anything, I'd make it a double feature. Just put the awful one at
both.
the end of the good one, and then people are like, "What is this?" JPC, I liked Green Lantern, so no one listens to my movie critiques. Boy, I saw Green Lantern, and I don't remember it very well.
Because it was so good and action-packed.
Yeah, it was amazing. I got out the white paint, and then I lost the white paint. Oh, there it is. I do think it was really funny, though, in Deadpool 2, when Ryan Reynolds goes back in time and kills himself before he can star in Green Lantern. Oh, that Ryan Reynolds sure is witty.
Out?
I don't know, 2010?
I feel like I saw it. I think I saw it in theaters. I think someone had a birthday and I went with, and I don't remember it at all. I barely remember if I went or not. I'm pretty sure I did, though.
Kilgore Void. Prometheum Forge, Soda Can Terrain when. We got that one saved too.
That was I like those training pieces. Those are fun.
Yeah. Although they're looking a little, like now that I have some G-Dub stuff, they're looking a little sad.
Mm-hmm. Is the Prometheum Forge guy still doing stuff?
I don't know.
That was a while ago.
It was. Yeah, it was a few years.
Let's see. Yeah, Prometheum Forge still exists.
Woo! They have any cool new stuff?
Let's look at this. Pipeworks terrain set. It's like a laser cut thing, and you put a pipe through it.
Ah, neat.
Sector Mechanicus. There's like modular walls. Can sets. Yep, the typical can sets.
Mm-hmm.
I think they should link to our tutorials, but that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
The gangplank, magnetized organization. You can put all of your Necromunda stuff on it, and it's all magnetized on, which is pretty neat. Gallery. It looks like it's all a lot of the same stuff. Cute. It's all MDF still.
Mm-hmm. Well, how much MDF would you sell if you had a laser cutter?
Oh, that's all I would do.
Man, laser cutters
Everything
are
would be
fun.
Everything would be made out of MDF. I wonder about those ones that are 3D printers and their laser cutters and their CNC machines.
It's hard to believe that you don't
That it
lose
could do it all.
something
Mm-hmm.
when you have one of the something that does it all.
Mm-hmm.
TK's 3D prints. Last night I was painting my 100mm tall Egyptian mummy, and I knocked the sword and snapped it off. Yeah, TK's 3D prints. That's my big problem with resin stuff, is it's so fragile. So
Could you even
fragile.
believe doing something like that?
I've broken every. No, I've broken all of my resin prints.
Mm-hmm.
At least once or twice or many times. Some of them just broke like during painting, and I'm like, that's garbage.
Mm-hmm. Well, don't paint them so hard.
I know. Yeah, that's true. I'm not the world's most careful person, but still. You know, it's not Apple dongle garbage, but it's. I was thinking if Apple really wanted people to have a good time, because the dongle lets you. It sucks because it's a tiny little 1.5-inch dongle, and you have to plug it in to use headphones that need a 3mm jack, but you need to unplug it to charge your phone. What if it was just both? If it was both, a charging port and
I mean, it is if you use their headphones.
It is if you use their headphones, but I don't like their headphones.
Well, there you go. I think the Apple lawyers would say it's your fault.
Yes.
I wonder if there's another company that uses that as a headphone jack.
I wonder. Well, I would like it if it had just like a headphone jack and the charging port like next to it. That way I could just plug it in and leave it and never have to unplug it from my phone. The having to unplug it and get rid of it and plug it in is what's annoying.
Yeah, but then why would you have to buy the Bluetooth AirPods?
I don't want Bluetooth AirPods.
Yeah, but but then how would they not sell them?
I lose the little dongle. I would 100% lose the earpods the size of a Skittle. I was reading, and apparently the headphone jack dongle is the best seller at Apple in terms of their dongles.
Mm-hmm. Yep. If my MacBook Pro just had an SD card slot, I basically wouldn't have any dongles. Because the monitor's USB-C, the camera's USB-C. A lot of stuff's USB-C now. But it doesn't have a SD card slot, which is annoying.
Well, what's interesting is there is a headphone jack on the new MacBooks because they say people will need it. But wasn't the whole reason for getting rid of it that they wanted for people to not need it?
Yeah, I wonder if it's just two different things, though.
It a little bit is two different things, but it's kind of not. I mean, their excuse was brave. Their excuse was "fuck you." Is really what it was for the phones. It is a different thing for the computers, but is it though? Oh my god, Dr. Druckle. Yeah, Apple sucks. Dongle.
Yeah.
Insert small dongle joke here. SEM. Apple fanboys are...
Remember that picture of Tim Cook looking really upset at
a
meeting?
Oh, that's one of my favorites. Whenever I'm feeling bad, I look at that.
Just brings it right back.
SEM. Apple fanboys are embarrassing. I've never met an Apple fanboy. I met a lot of Apple users. I see a lot of Apple fanboys when I Google the 3mm headphone jack debacle. And you get things like, 3mm headphone jack has been dead since 2010. It's like, I don't know if that's true. I think products are made every day that still use that thing. Dr. Drokel, you remember when Apple tried to tell people that they were holding phones wrong because of the bad placement Apple used to put The internal antenna. I did hear about that. I don't know if I had an Apple. I had an iPhone during those days.
It's the iPhone 4.
Oh my goodness. I had an iPhone 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, don't hold it wrong.
Mm-hmm. I had a 4 for ages, and then I had a 5 for ages. And now I have an iPhone SE 2020, and it's awesome. Except for the goddamn dongle.
You guys keep saying dongle, and you're gonna get demonetized.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
JPC. I feel like if Steve Jobs was alive, Apple wouldn't have a dongle. Ooh, that's a great question.
He hated extra shit.
Yeah.
That's why he didn't want the iPhone to have a stylus.
Oh, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder though. I wonder if Cook or someone would still be like, but dude, we're coming out with this new product, the earpods. And what if people have to buy them? Like, could he be persuaded?
I don't know.
It'd be I want again. We need to make like a Jupyter computer that can just tell us what would happen in alternate realities, so that we can be like, all right, let's see what happened. What's 2020 look like if Steve Jobs is alive?
Probably mech suits.
There's only black turtlenecks being sold at the Apple stores now.
Steve Jobs is an influencer.
Mm-hmm. He TikToks.
Has his own YouTube channel.
It's amazing to me that no famous person just has a YouTube channel. And they just post crap to it. Why wouldn't you? Because there's better ways to monetize your time.
Yeah. Who's that? There's that one guy that he started like a good news organization thing. One of those actors. Like, because it was all about when the pandemic started, all the news was shitty. And so he made like a nice news network that said nice things. That's the only thing that I know. Justin Bieber still has a YouTube channel. But he had a YouTube channel when he started.
Well, that's how he got big, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was also his raw talent, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's probably pretty good. I don't know a lot of Bieber songs.
Yes. No, it makes sense. I don't know. I'm not a big fan.
I love how everybody says Steve Jobs was a genius. He invented the iPad. Actually, Gene Roddenberry invented the iPad back in the 60s on Star Trek. Steve Jobs said, let's make that. Do it, lackeys. You know what, though? The person who comes up with the idea ain't nothing. The person who makes people invent it and then sells it is the real hero. You know, Gene Roddenberry also invented world peace in his stories. You know, I love me some Star Trek, but
Zurg619 posted on our subreddits the papercraft work in progress.
Ooh.
And I sent you a link to the subreddit. I want to take a look at it. Yep.
Ooh, wow, that is tiny.
It is tiny.
Wow, that is impressive.
Mm-hmm. Very
Nice.
tiny marine.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice, noobs.
There, Zerg 619. Exactly.
Dr. Drokel, just remember, we still have World War III to get through before Coatrain perfects his warp drive. Yes, true. Yeah, I just got to season 2 of Star Trek: The Next Generation, and season 2's better. But season 1 is really good. But like season 2, it looks like they have a little more money. They have a little bit more writing. The camera work is much better. The lighting is good. They actually have sets, like real sets. Sometimes. Worf doesn't look like he's wearing burlap. It's the polish. The polish is there for season 2. Ooh, Zerg 619. My goal is to do all of the units. Devastators, Apothecary, Tech Marine, and even Chaplain Terminator. Ooh. Man, this sand is fun to paint.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was painting a model today for a upcoming video, and it was not fun to paint. I think though it's because I had to paint it in a very specific style. Because I'm explaining how to do something in the video.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to spend like an hour just like painting all the skin after I had painted other stuff. Which if I was ever to do that again, I would just base coat its skin color with my airbrush and go from there.
Mm-hmm.
Probably do that with the Badger Patriot 105.
Mm.
Wouldn't want to break out the Infinity for that. There's a reason why TNG coined the term "grow the beard." It never really took off until later seasons, coinciding with Frakes growing Seaman's beard. Seaman's beard. Don't know who's Frax.
I think that was just an excuse to make us say seaman.
Yeah, who's Frax? Dr. Drogo, wait till you get to the end of Season 3 of TNG. I had to wait a whole year to see how it turned out back in the day. Ooh, you know what? You know what's weird? At the end of Season 1, they dropped a bunch of bombshells. Like Starfleet being infected with these parasites. And like a whole bunch of really important people being killed. Season 2, no word about it. And you know what? I have a feeling it's not going to come up again. Like, it seems like they were laying it on thick to make sure that they got picked up again. And then once they did, they're like, yeah, no more of those action-packed stories. Let's get back to, like, the nitty-gritty science stuff. Oh, Jonathan Frakes plays Riker. Oh yeah, Riker has a beard now. Joey Flores, hashtag not my Star Trek. No kidding. Though at one point, Gene Roddenberry wanted everybody nude. So there's that. Boy, would that be a different show. Man, though, if you were naked all the time, your butt would just have to sit on a lot of cold stuff every now and then. Like everything would need to be a heated seat.
I mean, honestly, that's the world that I want to live in, anyways. Or maybe you just bring a seat with you everywhere you go. You know, like pants.
Yeah, and then also, just Riker would always have an erection. He likes to go after the alien ladies.
Don't we all?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not against the Prime Directive to bang the alien queen. SEM, I'm going to sleep now. Take care, everybody. Good night, SEM, and good night, everybody, because we're wrapping it up in 3 minutes. Can you imagine how gross the command chairs would be? That's true. That's true. They're always trading places. You wouldn't want to do that in the nude. Ooh, Dave Dog, my favorite Age of Sigmar novel is the dwarven one named Forge of Iron Heroes Ivor Bigun. Neat. I don't know if I'm ready to get into Age of Sigmar though. That's a whole nother thing. I barely have my mind wrapped around 40K.
I barely have my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I just have a bunch of loose marbles.
The prime erective. Get it? Because Riker's dick. Ooh, Troy W. What do you find easier to paint? Plastic or lead base? You mean like pewter? And paint thickness, as I noticed the new ones seem a little dry. Probably a COVID thing? Adding water. Any video on it? What, you mean paint thickness? The new paints? I don't think there's any difference in the formula of GW paints. You always have to water them down a little, because GW paint is a little thick in the pot, which is kind of what you want, because it means you get more pigments. But plastic versus metal models. Plastic all day, every day. Metal models suck. I mean, there's cool metal models. I'm not talking about the sculpts. I'm just saying metal. Working with metal compared to working with plastic is poop.
Mm-hmm.
And if the model's particularly big, you'll get hand fatigue. I remember painting that my metal dreadnought, which weighs about a pound. That was not fun to paint.
Cougar Boy, they put the Rona in all the paints now.
Yeah. Yeah, they put the Corona in the paints, but then they put the vaccine in the brushes, so brush lickers will survive. Yeah, we're definitely not gonna. I don't think we have a whole video of adding water to paint. You just look at it, and if it's clumpy, definitely add water. If it's a little bit too thick, add water. Otherwise, it's probably fine. And you should be putting it on a wet palette anyway. So that's where you're really gonna do your paint editing.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my first minis still had lead warnings on them. They were tasty.
Lead.
Citadel paint is made of Corona. Ooh, JPC. Santa is looking amazing. Ever do Jack Skellington? I would 100% paint Jack Skellington if there was a model. Is there a model? Does that exist?
I bet someone's made it.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a great. Well, I guess it could be a.
Other Final Fantasy
I mean, that sounds like...
miniatures? Or not Final Fantasy. What's the Disney Final Fantasy crossover game? Kingdom Hearts. Is there Kingdom Hearts miniatures?
Yeah.
That could be cool. Because if there's two things that go together really well, it's one specific anime and the entirety of Disney.
Yeah.
Never quite understood that. All right, everybody. It's about that time, but tune back in tomorrow after you've watched our video that's getting published tomorrow, of course. And we'll continue to paint Santa.
Yep, we'll be back at 9 p.m. Central Time.
Mm-hmm.